It's right around 8 a.m. on Thursday, December 7th. As you can see, it is 23 degrees in Boston right now. And there's no heat in this unit once again. I have sent multiple email notifications, voicemails, and in-person notifications to the office regarding the fact that there's absolutely no heat in the baseboards in this unit, regardless of how cold it gets outside, and have mentioned several times that I have to turn the burners on my stove on for warmth. I've had the burners on that stove going all night since 1 a.m. because it was just too cold in here to not have some kind of warmth, and that's the only warmth that I can get in this unit. These are the baseboard pipes. They are metal. If they were warm, I wouldn't be able to leave my hand on them for very long. But they're ice cold. And this is usually the part of the heating setup here in this unit that gets pretty hot when the heat is on. When there's excessive heat, these baseboards right here running behind my headboard are the ones that get really, really hot. There's absolutely no heat in these whatsoever. The windows are completely closed. Completely closed. Obviously, the AC is off, and there's curtains covering the windows. The shades are down. The shades are completely closed as well. But it is so cold in here right now that I've had to turn, again, the burners on all night long. So it's actually not supposed to get that much warmer today. It's 23 degrees right now, and yesterday it was also in the low 20s in the morning. This is about as warm as it's going to get all day, basically. Yeah, the high today, it looks like it's going to be 35 or something. Yeah, so at 3 p.m., the high is going to be 34 degrees. And there's no heat in this unit. Once again, the baseboard pipes are ice cold. Yeah, there's no heat, absolutely nothing. And it's so dangerous to leave a burner on the stove going for hours because it's an open flame. Something could fall into it and cause a fire. I've mentioned this to management. They have done absolutely nothing to regulate the heat in this unit. Last Thursday, when I came back from Thanksgiving vacation and walked in here, the heat in here was so excessive you could barely breathe. It was like walking into a wall of heat. And they finally turned the heat down on Saturday, December 2nd. And there has been absolutely no heat in this unit ever since, even though the temperatures in Boston have been in the 20s and 30s, not just at night, but also during the day. Yesterday morning, it snowed in the Boston area, and it was 32 degrees, 33 degrees. The high yesterday was 34 degrees in the Boston area. And that's when I called not just the office of the Greenville group to let them know that there's no heat in these baseboards, but I also contacted inspectional services. However, I will call them again today to let them know there's still no heat in these baseboards, in spite of multiple verbal and written complaints to them. I mean, I've been leaving my hand on this baseboard for, 3-4 minutes now. If there was any heat in these baseboards, because they're metal, all right, you hear that? It echoes. It's not plastic. It's metal. I would not be able to be touching this baseboard continuously. If there was even just a tiny bit of heat, I would not be able to touch this baseboard at all. Metal gets really hot when there's any kind of heat around. It's a conductor, so it would be really hot right now. Even if there was a little bit of heat in here, there's no heat, obviously. Okay, so yeah, the high temperature today is going to be 34, and there's no heat in here. So let's call the Greenville group. This is going to be like the 10th time I've left them a voicemail in the last few days about the fact that there's no heat in this unit today. I mean, it's just outrageous. They can't regulate the heat in here at all. So instead of trying to keep it at a reasonable temperature, they just shut it off, regardless of how cold it gets outside.
Hello, you've reached the Greenville Real Estate Group. Our office hours are from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Our office is currently closed. If this is an emergency, please press 1. Otherwise, press 2 to leave a voicemail for the front office. After the tone, please leave a detailed message with your name and number so we may get back to you when we return.
Hi there. It's right around 8 a.m. on Thursday, December 7th. I'm calling from Unit 89 to inform that there is still absolutely no heat in any of the baseboard heating pipes in this unit, and it is ice cold in this unit right now. It's 23 degrees outside in Boston, and it's supposed to only go up to 34 today as the high temperature, which means it might actually stay below 34 degrees and remain at the freezing mark. And again, I've mentioned this multiple times over the last, not just several days, but the last year and a half, that there is no heat in Unit 89. There was excessive heat in Unit 89 for about 2 weeks in November, and your solution to the problem was to completely turn the heat to Unit 89 off. And it is way too cold in here for it to be a legal situation. This is a code violation when you refuse to provide heat in a living space and the temperature goes below 65 degrees. That is a code violation. I am asking the Greenville Group right now to send someone from maintenance up to Unit 89 to do a temperature reading and to see why there's no heat in the baseboard heating pipes. As soon as the sun comes up, the unit does warm up a little bit because the sun hits the windows and it does create a temporary, short-lived greenhouse effect. But when there's no sun hitting the windows and the temperatures outside are below 35, the temperature in Unit 89 goes below 65 degrees, and I have to turn the burners on my stove on for warmth to be comfortable in any way. It is impossible to be warm in here when the temperatures outside are 23 degrees and there's no heat in the baseboard heating pipes. I can leave my hand on these pipes all day. They are metal. Metal is a conductor substance, and if there was any warmth in the pipes, I would not be able to touch the baseboards, but I can leave my hand on the baseboards for 10 minutes because they're ice cold. Again, it is 8 a.m. I'm calling from Unit 89. Please send someone from maintenance up to my door today to do a temperature reading and see why there's no heat in these baseboard pipes. If you have any questions, I can be reached at 617-459-0208. And please forward this voicemail to your legal team. This is a legal situation. You are claiming that I owe rent. I do not owe rent for a unit where you are incapable of regulating the heat to reasonable temperatures, and it's either in excess of 85 degrees or then there's no heat whatsoever, and then I have to turn the burners on my stove on for warmth. There's also an ongoing rodent infestation that you have failed to address, and that is also a code violation. There is an open case against the Greenville Group from the City of Boston regarding a rodent infestation, and that case at this time is not closed. So again, if you have any questions, I can be reached at 617-459-0208. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Hung up. This is ridiculous. I keep having to call them every day and they do nothing.